Hello world, I'm Miyah Sundermeyer and I would like to welcome you to the latest episode of my blog series. As you guys know, for those of you who are subscribed to my channel currently, I normally like to share my own experiences with the world of what it's like for me to live on the spectrum. And you guys know that I like to cover topics that I am passionate about that have absolutely nothing to do with autism whatsoever. And that is because I like to talk about things that I am passionate about. And I'm going to mix up the two tonight. And I am going to start off by letting you guys know that I was diagnosed with autism in 1993, or pervasive developmental disorder. And it was in that same year, right around that same time frame, that Steven Spielberg's masterpiece and Michael Crichton's best-selling novel Jurassic Park hit movie theaters. And I remember when everybody wanted to go see it, and I remember hearing about how people were frightened when they walked out of the movie theater and they said, this movie's really, really scary, it's a horror story. And I finally went to go see it myself, and I didn't think it was scary at all. I thought it was fascinating. I thought it was probably one of the most epic things I'd ever seen. For instance, I was absolutely in love with the sound of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I didn't think he sounded, or she sounded like she was roaring. Well, every time she opened up her mouth to let out that epic roar, it sounded more like clanging metal. But I most recently found out after seeing Jurassic World that her classic roar came from the sound of a baby elephant slowed down. And, to me, I will always admire that noise, and I will always try to imitate it when I can. But I wanted to talk to you guys about the new movie Jurassic World. And this has been at least 2 decades now since Jurassic Park, and probably 2 other sequels later, we have a new movie Jurassic World, and Steven Spielberg, who executively produced the movie, and other people that are another director. I don't know his name yet. He took over the project, but I do know that Amblin Entertainment, in addition to Universal Studios and Legendary Pictures, took over Jurassic Park, which we now have Jurassic World. And I went to go see it on Saturday with my friends, and for a birthday. And here are my reviews on it. I want to talk about the ups. The ups of the movie are that it felt like a Jurassic Park movie. It felt like it was just as refreshing as the Jurassic Park movie of 1993. And we didn't have a bunch of noise. We didn't have a disconnected plot. No. We actually had a plot that was pretty well put together, and we had a new fresh array of actors, such as Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy. And his character was really interesting. We had 2 very young boys, like in the first movie, only they weren't. It wasn't 2 brothers. It was a brother and a sister in the first movie. But my own perception of Jurassic World was it's Jurassic Park meets Indiana Jones. And I loved Indiana Jones, and I loved Jurassic Park. I also should mention that I was hoping that John Williams would really take over the musical score like he did for the other movies. And as it turns out, though, we had Michael Giacchino, who is also a fascinating musical composer, and he did the music for the Star Trek movies, and he's also, I think, going to do the new Star Wars ones. But so far, Giacchino's music has not really let me down. And I should also mention that I've always been a fan of film scores, because it's like I can watch a movie with the music, and then I can go back to YouTube and listen to those musical scores again, and I can watch the movie in my head without actually sit down to watch the movie, but it's really the music telling the story. But getting back to the reviews, I now have some downs about the story. Number one, I was disappointed that this new director did not cast any of the original actors and actresses from Jurassic Park. Like, for one, I have always been a fan of Dr. Hammond's granddaughter, Lex, or Alexis. And that's because she's such an interesting character. I mean, she was a hacker, and, you know, she was a hacker, and she just wasn't very well developed. I mean, she was too busy running around screaming about everything most of the time. And I thought it would have been interesting to see some development with her. And unfortunately, nobody has even thought of that. I also thought that it should have been her and her brother Timothy that were running Jurassic World and figuring out what should they have done differently, not the other. Another really big plot hole is, okay, you guys have seen the two Jurassic Park sequels, and you saw the first Jurassic Park, and you know that the first time when they tried to open the park, we had a madman break down the computers in addition to a tropical storm, and all kinds of havoc wreaked. And it was from that those dinosaurs escaped, and since then, no one was safe on that island. Well, the last couple of movies, all they've wanted to do is just abandon the island because it's just too dangerous, and they've all agreed that it's not safe to open the park. So I would like to know who was it that got a hold of those dinosaurs? Did they suddenly take their DNA when they were on the island? And did they create the new species of dinosaur? Or did they tranquilize those dinosaurs and rebuild the parks? I mean, again, there's just a lot of plot holes. And another thing that I didn't like is that, yes, I love Chris Pratt's character, and even though he wasn't some top scientist, I mean, he seemed to be fabulous with the velociraptors. I mean, he was good at training them, and he was able to earn their trust. But or they were able to earn his trust too. But what I didn't like is that the female character in there, Claire, she was that was Ron Howard's daughter that plays her. What I didn't like about her is that they made her out to be such a ditz, and like one of my coworkers said today, and all she ever did was run around with high heels on, and then of course that's a plot hole right there. As number one, high heels are bad for your spine, and number two, you'd think that if she ran around in those high heels, she would probably twist or sprain or break an ankle, because those heels look like they were too skinny, and I mean they're uncomfortable shoes to wear. I absolutely hate high heels. I mean, if I like looking formal, for a professional for work, I wear flats. But anyway, please let me know what you guys thought of the new movie Jurassic World. I mean, right now I am just as ecstatic as I was back in the 90s about Jurassic Park, and I'm happy to announce that that I want to buy the Jurassic Park movies. I want to buy both of the Jurassic Park books. I want a vintage Jurassic Park t-shirt, or I want a t-shirt, or I want a classic Jurassic t-shirt. So anyway, until next time, I'm Miyah Sundermeyer, and I'm signing off.